A 2022 study from the University of Copenhagen found that people who regularly expose themselves to cold temperatures have 40% more brown fat than the average person. And here's the kicker. Brown fat burns calories 24/7 and produces proteins that may literally slow down aging. So that ice bath your neighbor keeps posting about on Instagram, it might actually be adding years to their life. I'm diving deep into the science of cold exposure for longevity today. And trust me, the research is way more compelling than I expected. We're talking about studies showing improved insulin sensitivity, enhanced immune function, and even potential lifespan extension. But before you start planning your polar plunge, I'll show you exactly how to get these benefits safely and affordably. Because the most effective protocol might just be sitting in your shower right now. Let's start with the big picture. Cold exposure works through a principle called hormesis. Basically, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. When you expose your body to controlled cold stress, it triggers a cascade of adaptive responses that researchers are now linking to longevity. A groundbreaking 2023 study published in Nature Aging followed 2,400 people for 12 years and found that those with regular cold exposure habits had significantly lower rates of age-related diseases. The magic happens at the cellular level. Cold exposure activates something called cold shock proteins, particularly one called RBM3. Dr. Giovanna Malucci's team at Cambridge found that RBM3 protects brain synapses and may prevent neurodegeneration. Think of it like upgrading your cellular software. The cold stress forces your cells to become more resilient and efficient. But here's where it gets really interesting for longevity. Cold exposure also activates brown adipose tissue. That's brown fat, which doesn't just burn calories, it produces something called adiponectin. A 2021 study in Cell Metabolism showed that higher adiponectin levels correlate with longer lifespans across multiple species. It's like having a metabolic furnace that keeps you young. The metabolic effects of cold exposure read like a longevity wish list. First, insulin sensitivity. A 2020 study from Maastricht University found that just 10 days of cold exposure improved insulin sensitivity by 43%. Better insulin sensitivity means better blood sugar control, reduced inflammation, and lower risk of diabetes, all major factors in healthy aging. Cold exposure also cranks up your metabolism through non-shivering thermogenesis. Your brown fat literally burns calories to generate heat, and this process can increase your metabolic rate by 15–30% according to research from NIH. But here's the longevity connection. This metabolic boost comes with increased production of mitochondria, the powerhouses of your cells. More efficient mitochondria mean better energy production and less cellular damage over time. The cardiovascular benefits are equally impressive. A massive Finnish study following 2,300 men for 20 years found that regular sauna users, who often combine heat with cold plunges, had 50% lower rates of cardiovascular disease. While that study focused on heat, similar mechanisms apply to cold exposure through improved circulation and reduced inflammation. Your immune system gets a serious upgrade from cold exposure, and this might be the most important longevity benefit of all. Wim Hof, the famous Iceman, participated in a landmark study at Radboud University, where researchers actually injected him and trained volunteers with bacterial endotoxins. The cold-exposed group had 50% fewer inflammatory symptoms and recovered faster. The mechanism involves activating your sympathetic nervous system, which releases norepinephrine. This neurotransmitter acts like a reset button for your immune system, reducing chronic inflammation while boosting your ability to fight acute threats. Chronic inflammation is basically the enemy of longevity. It's linked to everything from Alzheimer's to cancer to heart disease. A 2019 study in Aging Cell found that people with lower inflammatory markers lived an average of 7 years longer than those with high inflammation. Cold exposure also builds what researchers call cross-adaptation. Basically, getting better at handling one type of stress makes you more resilient to others. It's like strength training for your stress response system, and a robust stress response is a hallmark of longevity. Now, for the practical stuff, you don't need a $15,000 cold plunge to get these benefits. The research shows that water temperature between 50 and 59 degrees Fahrenheit is the sweet spot. That's achievable with a regular shower in most climates, or you can add ice to a bathtub. Start with just 30 seconds of cold exposure at the end of your regular shower, then gradually work up to 2 to 3 minutes. A 2022 study found that 11 minutes total per week, spread across multiple sessions, was optimal for metabolic benefits. You can break that into 2 to 3 minute sessions every other day. For the budget conscious, here's my favorite hack. Fill a large storage container with cold water and ice. It costs about $50 total and gives you the same physiological response as those expensive tubs. The key is consistency over intensity. Even a 1-minute cold shower every day beats a 10-minute ice bath once a week. Your body needs regular exposure to maintain those adaptive responses we talked about. And here's a pro tip from the research. Controlled breathing during cold exposure amplifies the benefits. The Wim Hof breathing method, which is free to learn, can help you stay in longer and activate those stress adaptation pathways more effectively. Let me give you 3 protocols you can start this week. First, the beginner protocol. End your regular shower with 30-60 seconds of cold water. Aim for uncomfortable but tolerable. You should be able to breathe even if it's sharp. Do this daily for 2 weeks, then extend to 90 seconds. Second, the intermediate protocol. Once you're comfortable with cold showers, try a 2-3 minute cold bath once or twice a week. Fill your tub with cold water and add ice until it hits 50-55 degrees. You can buy a simple thermometer for $10. Third, the advanced protocol. Combine cold exposure with breathwork. Before your cold exposure, do 3 rounds of the Wim Hof breathing technique. It's free on YouTube. This helps you stay in longer and may amplify the hormetic benefits. Budget breakdown. Cold showers cost nothing extra. A basic thermometer costs $10. Ice costs about $3 per session. Compare that to 200+ monthly memberships at recovery centers. The most important thing? Start today, not tomorrow. Even 30 seconds of cold water triggers those beneficial stress responses we discussed. If this video convinced you to try cold exposure, drop a snowflake emoji in the comments and let me know your experience. And if you want my complete cold therapy protocol with safety guidelines and troubleshooting tips, I've put together a free guide. Link is in the description. Don't forget to subscribe for more science-backed longevity strategies that won't break your budget.